Hey everybody, good morning. I just wanted to spend a minute and talk a little bit about estimating and customers and things that I've been dealing with here lately. We've had a couple of really unique jobs since this whole Corona thing started, and I've had some kind of different experiences. We picked up one job clear back around Christmas time where we went in, we looked at the job, we quoted the job within a day because it was a huge rush. Well, they got the quote, called us in for a meeting about a week later, and once we got to the meeting, we actually were informed that the only reason we were at the meeting was because they were really curious why we were so high. Because apparently we were 30% higher than the closest bid to us, and then there were some strung out below that guy. Well, I just told them, my normal thing, like I mentioned before on the How to Sell Yourself video. It's we bring a level of professionalism that you're not going to get from other people. Our cleanliness, our tools, our speed, our quality of work is where it is, and that's what we're worth as a company, per day, per hour, whatever. And basically that's our price. They wanted to know if we could move any, so that's our price. So we leave that meeting. We're all happy and friendly. The next, maybe 2, 3 days goes by. I assume the other guy got the job. Well, no, I get a call. Can you come back and have another meeting? So we come back for that meeting, and that meeting was basically to try to ask me in person, and here's the quote, that's 30% lower. If you guys will match that price, you can have the job today. And I said, if I'm here for a second meeting, I already know you want to hire me over those people because our value we bring is very different. And apparently you could tell this immediately between comparing us to, because I'm sure the other people were having the same meetings. Well, that's the difference in us. If you want to use us, this is going to be what the price is. Well, we're going to have to think about it. So another week goes by, and I get a call. Let's do it. Come on in, meet, let's sign contract, do this thing. So we did. We went through that. We did that entire project. That was a fairly large project with engineering involved and everything. And we got through to the end. We passed every, structural inspection, everything the very first time. Everything went very, very well. He's very impressed. Well, now we need to do a second phase job because there's another room that has the same problem. So we quote that job, and it goes back to the same thing. We have to go to meetings. We're arguing about price constantly, on and on and on and on. And, you already know I'm not going to move, so why are we wasting our time? Anyway, I finally said that, in the second or third meeting this time. I said, you're either going to use me or you're not. You already know how the other job turned out. So are we doing this or are we not doing this? This is the price. And they thought about it for about 10 seconds and said, well, let's get it done. We got to get it done, and we already know we want you to do it. So that's, the type of customers that you deal with. So getting through that one, is like pulling teeth all the time on pricing or, oh my, why do we need to buy an extra $100 worth of this, an extra $200 worth of that? Why? Anyway, we got about to the end of that job. I just have a few trim pieces to put on, and we'll be closing out that one. And we get to have one more argument at the final table with the change orders. But they're signed change orders, so we're moving on from that. Now, you need to really be sure you do those. If you're new in this business and new to contracting, when you write your original estimate, we try to be as accurate as possible. But customers change their minds. Sometimes the job site itself changes your mind on something. You actually open up that wall, you open up that floor, you have a different set of problems than you had. You need to have it clearly defined in your estimate what scope of work you are including. That way, if things move beyond that scope of work, you're able to write an immediate change order on a simple paper that you keep a stack of in your book and say, look, sir, we're now going to be adding 6 more floor joists that we didn't plan on before. We were doing 12, now we're doing 18. You were going to do 3/4 subfloor, now you're thinking 1.25 subfloor, you're thinking double thick, you're thinking all this other stuff. Anything like that is a change order. If it adds time to your day, you need to get it signed. Don't just say, hey, would you like us to go ahead and do it this way? No, don't. Because a week later, when you get to that final discussion table and you say, yeah, you do remember that we put the thicker flooring in there and it took us this much time to go and get and we had to change it out and blah, blah, blah. They're not going to remember anything about the conversation you had changing the price, okay? Just know that. They forget 100% of the time when it's extra money from them. So be sure these things are clearly written and stapled to the back of your contract every time you add one. Signed by them, okay? That way when you get to that final table, you can just add your original estimate, each change order, and that's their total. And they have a copy of each order as they go, and they know where they're at all the time too. Clarity on the job will save you so many headaches. You just have to really put yourself in their shoes, and you would want to know all the time how deep of a hole you're getting yourself into. So do the same for them. Try to make it very professional, very clear. Use nice documents. Even if you just go to Staples and buy their little kit and make copies of it. You know, a lot of contractors do that around here too. So just do what you can there to keep things clearly written, always written. Because if you go to court, the judge doesn't care about anything except what was written down. It doesn't matter that your great uncle's third cousin told your mama's aunt that it was going to be $1,000 to do that. They don't care, okay? At all. So anyway, then moving from that customer that's this complicated, okay, I got a call to quote another project that's even larger than this restaurant project. The monetary amount, you know, probably another 30-40% higher, and we're already, you know, north of the $10,000 range. And that person calls, has me walk through with them. We write a detailed quote. Took some pictures, submitted them with the quote on Joist. You all know I really like using Joist. It's been my favorite quoting app for quite a while now. I just have so many materials pre-programmed into it at my local prices. Everything is just really simple. Within a few minutes, I can write an estimate. And there's a lot more details on how to write an estimate over in my estimating video. Estimating tips and tricks, I think it's called. Anyway, we submit this massive quote for this project, which is painting an addition, completing a bunch of tile that some people really failed on. And 10 seconds after I sent it, I don't think it was over a minute, received the deposit through Joist. Problem solved. No complaining. No second meetings. Nothing. Just bam. Money. There you go. Let's get it done. So you can have some very different customers that want to beat you up on every single dollar. And then you have customers that just accept your quote and move forward. As long as you're quoting in your same way, you're fair all the time, do not move when you're negotiated with. That's just my opinion. Because here's the problem. If I give you a good buddy deal on round one, okay? Now when I finish that project, I've hurt myself. I've also implied that I was ripping you off with my original quote, because if I'm able to come down, there's too much getting bid, okay? I can't come down. That's the deal. The price is the price. That's what I need to survive, pay my health insurance, pay my helpers, pay my vacations, everything. I'm self-employed. You have to think about this stuff for yourself, okay? So, at the end of the day, you have your price. That's what you stick to, whether they argue with you or not. Now, you may get into circumstances where you already know the person's going to beat you up for $500 off every single time. There's some local guys that tell me that's just the way to do it. Mark it up $500. When they get you to the beating table, then you give them $500 off and you move on. Nobody's the wiser, and you didn't spend any money either. But to me, I'm just more straight up. If it's $10,000, it's $10,000 today, tomorrow, next week. I don't care how long you wait. Estimates are only good for 30 days. Then we'll have to re-quote it because my prices do change, material changes, all that kind of stuff. Be sure that line is in your estimate as well. That this is not good in posterity, because they will call you next spring and say, hey, you remember you said you built that porch for me for $1,500 last year? We're ready to go ahead and move forward on that now. Well, how are you going to feel if last year you were charging, $300 a day? This year you're charging $500 a day. Your schedule's booked, Now you're going to have to tell the person, well, look, we were figuring 5 days at $300. That's how we got to 15. It's still going to take me 5 days times $500 now, though. So we're going to have to go to 2,500. See, now you're going to, run into issues. So be sure you have that in your quote. You're only good for 30 days or whatever term you want to make them good for, and go for it. But anyway, that's a few little talks about some customers I've had recently, some issues I've had recently, and how we've handled those. Thank you all for being here. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this if you have anybody you think it might help. And again, thank you all for being here. See ya.